Welcome to the Human Potential Podcast, where we dive deep into real conversations with successful movement, health, and healing pros. In this show, our focus is on the business and personal finance side of things, career paths, family and community, and the mental aspect of serving others as a movement, health, and healing pro. Every professional and entrepreneur that we interview is passionate about healing, helping, and serving this world in a way that ultimately aims at optimizing the human potential. We can't wait to go deep and share their stories with you. So the last question, it's kind of a deep one. It's something I'm really passionate about. Some of the work that I'm doing, went through this training last 2 years, and it's work called life planning. But there's a lot of exercises that I do with clients, exercises, more so homework or conversations that we have, not physical exercise, but it's through this work from George Kinder. But one of the exercises is these 3 questions, and I'll give you kind of the summary of what the 3 questions are and kind of the point of them. But I'll just ask you the third question, so we'll only have time for that. But basically, these questions allow for someone to really try to think deeper about what's most important to them. I think a lot of us, we have life experiences, we see what's out there. It's really hard to, really say and put down to paper what we actually want and what's important to us. Some of it comes easier than others, but a lot of times it's hard, and you want to have momentum towards goals. And so these questions try to open that up for someone. And so the first question is really just asking, if you had unlimited resources, how would you live your life? What would you do? So that's the first question. And then it gets a little deeper, and it says, that your doctor comes to you and says, you're going to die in 5 to 10 years, and you have the resources that you have today. What would you do differently? How would you spend the rest of your next 5 to 10 years? And the third question, which I'm asking you today on the spot, share whatever you want. You don't have to go too crazy, but the third question is really, the doctor says you have 24 hours left to live. And it's not necessarily what would you do in those 24 hours, but it's more going into the feelings. What would you feel, and what would you feel or think that you missed out on, or that you regretted? So you don't have to answer each of those questions, but just kind of what comes to mind when you think about you having 24 hours left to live.
I think it's a very human response for me to feel angry, sad, confused, going through all of this, the stages of grief there, right? And eventually arriving to acceptance of, okay, I can sit here and I can like huss and fuss over this like news that I got, or I can be about this for about an hour and spend the next 23 hours just trying to, make the most of what I've got on this planet. And once I get through that, I think I would definitely go through the motions of figuring out, okay, I got 23 hours. Who do I want to spend it with?
Mm.
And, really living it up to that in terms of, what it is. And to be honest with you, it's like, I don't really know. I don't have a crystal ball in front of me. I can't predict what I would do, but I definitely would spend it with the people that mean the most to me. Of course, there's a practical side of me where I'd wrap up my affairs and, delegate another clinician and be like, hey, I got like 22 hours here. I need you to call all my clients and let them know I'm not coming back. And I need you to,
Love
take
that.
up the mantle, and of course, like, make sure that this is a joke, but I would probably make sure that every one of my clinical notes was signed with my signature before I kick the bucket. And I guess like, what I mean, that's basically it is. I was try to wrap things up in a bow. I don't really know if I would have any regrets because right around the time that you and I connected in life, I really did open up to this idea of I'm gonna do everything that I can. And even if I'm not ready, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Mm.
So there are so many things that I've been able to do and accomplish in life that I don't know if I'd have any regrets, except for maybe one, and that would be that I never really got to adopt a dog. So I'd
Mm.
probably, take my
Okay.
partner, we'd probably run down to the humane society and adopt a dog, and I'd just be like, "Hey, this is like, you know, when I pass, I want you to keep this dog and treat it well."
Well, hopefully this question makes you adopt a dog in the next few weeks. Well, I'm going to hold that to you too. That sounds like it's pretty important to you. But is that all you got? I think you shared a ton, and that's, I really appreciate that. I don't want to cut you off though on the dog comment.
I'd probably get married right before, we'd probably move up the wedding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd give my partner all the details and be like, "Let's see if we can get some refunds on this." I don't know. I would probably encourage him to still go on our honeymoon
That's awesome.
without me. Just bring the dog.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you answering that question and everything else. You've been an amazing guest, and a lot of the things that you shared, I feel like anyone that's listening, whether they're a life coach or a therapist or anyone else in the movement health world, can take some really good nuggets and a piece of wisdom. So we're going to sign off now, but thank you again and hope you continue to do great work that you're doing and working on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and for everyone listening, be well.
If you enjoyed this episode, show us some love by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We want to share these conversations with more movement, health, and healing pros. By rating and reviewing our podcast, you will help us do just that. We appreciate you. See you next time, and don't forget, we all have so much human potential within us. Don't waste it. Let's all make something happen and take action today.